So we're here with Matthew Brady, who is part of Card Cartel, where he has just made day two at YCS Birmingham. So we're just here to talk to him about his deck profile. So how are you feeling, Matthew? How was the weekend and how was the overall experience?
Yeah, it was pretty good overall. A couple of things didn't go my way to make top 64. It is unfortunate, but just for the next YCS, I'll just do better next time, and yeah, just keep progressing.
Perfect. And what deck were you playing? And
I took Maliss to this event. I think Maliss was definitely a good meta call. I was expecting mostly Fiendsmith Ryziel, and I definitely built the deck to beat that, but also the other Fiendsmith variants, the other Ryziel variants, and also the mirror match as well. Now, obviously, the top 64 of the YCS was a bit different. There was quite a lot of Rogue, there was a lot of Mermail, and there was Fire King won the event as well. But overall, I think the deck list was pretty good overall.
did you face anything crazy over the weekend? Any wide or crazy deck
There was
profiles?
some early Primite variant decks. There was a decent Voiceless Voice player I played against as well. I went up against a few Floodgates like Skill Drain, and There Can Be Only One, which wasn't fun, but we came through in the end overall.
I bet there can only be one was interesting with this deck.
It can be a bit of a problem, but we managed to get other types on the board and we worked around it.
Oh, that's all right. So we'll get into it here, and then we'll talk a wee bit about it, and then you can explain your matchups after and how it went.
Okay. So we kept the deck at 40. So I wanted to try a little bit of a different ratio. So we have 3 dormice, 3 rabbit, and 3 cat. I know normally most people play 2, but I just wanted a decent normal summon, and also because this deck can play around hand traps quite well, so usually people throw different hand traps at the Chessy Cat, and you often don't really care, simply because you're playing so many Bystials. And then on top of that, we play 2 Field Spell. Now, looking back at the event and maybe moving forward, what I would do is I would cut down to 2 Chessy Cat and play up to 3 Field Spell. But for this event, I decided to run maximum art on the monsters and reduce the number of field spells.
Did you find any of the hidden effects of the monsters come into effect, like the effect to banish or
yes, whenever I link monsters being pointed to Chessy Cats, that banish effect whenever a monster by battle is being destroyed does come up actually pretty frequently if a card gets triggered in the graveyard, for example.
And how many people forgot about that they actually have other effects than the main effects?
Quite a few, absolutely. Also, just the fact that a lot of people forget that Dormouse has the extra 600 attack points as well. Comes up quite a bit.
Well, that's it, and it does matter at the end of your battle phase when you're trying to add it all up.
Yeah, exactly. Like access code plus a white binder with an extra 600 attack points is game anyways on board. So our secondary engine is the Bystials. These dragons were absolutely insane. We ran a total of 9 of them, with 2 Sarnier.
Okay, so interesting tech.
Yeah, so it was definitely a meta call. So it's obviously very useful against Mitsurugi as well as Fiendsmith. Often, very few times, my opponents were able to summon Desiree or Caesar. So it just made the board so much easier to play through. You already have some link materials established on the field. And the secondary effects of Durasworm and Baldric came up an awful lot, and they were absolutely excellent. The secondary effect of Sarnier only comes up now and then to dump Magnum because you can summon it back with a bow or add a pack of Firewall, for example, as well. So the other cards we were playing.
Were you happy with the amount of Bystials you played, or would you play more, or would you play less?
I think what I could do moving forward, or looking back at the event, is cut the 2 Sarnier and maybe play 3 Shifter. Shifter is definitely more useful against the rogue variants such as Atlantean and Fire King, for example, as well. The other hand traps we played, 3 Effect Veiler,
Multi-Veiler, just show off.
3 Naviria, and 3 Ash Blossom. These were the monster hand traps that were all useful, all came up across different matchups. Yeah, no complaints with these, they were all pretty good. The best board breaker in the game right now, Eltronus, absolutely excellent. Either setting it or breaking boards go 1 second.
Did you catch many of your opponents off guard where you summoned a nib on a detonator or something where you'd already used one previously?
Um, no, not exactly. It just came up in different events. For example, if I had that card set and they normal summon the ice, I could summon a detonator that way. And often, because I run a detonator in the extra deck, I could just banish it because it just gets around the Eclipse Twins, reviving it back from the graveyard. Other spells, we're running one talents, one gold sark. This card is amazing. Anytime I've seen it, wish I could have ran more, but we'll just keep it one for now. Trap cards, of course, the three in archetype trap cards, of course.
Yes, guys, you see that right. He is playing a hollow GWC 06.
And then the other great trap card in the deck right now is Impulse. Um, People might wonder, like, does it conflict with things like Effect Veiler and Nibiru? Basically, you have to try and sequence your plays if you open both in your same hand, but oftentimes you'd either draw one or the other, so they wouldn't even conflict anyways.
Would you ever think about increasing this to hollow instead of playing the rare to trigger your opponents?
No, I like the rare variant. It's totally fine with me.
So 40k main deck was it?
Yeah, like I said, you could easily probably change it up a little bit. I'll just show the changes at the end of the profile to see what difference will be made. So that's 40 cards exactly. In terms of our side deck, 3 Nancy, of course. Like a lot of people, everyone sided this against me. Sometimes it resolved against me, sometimes it didn't, because I have some cards for whenever they do side it against me. We have 2 Perulia. Perulia is fine. It's better than Fulos than the. Perulia is better than Fulos against Ryziel, for example, which I expected to face mostly. And you can play around talents this way by throwing it in standby phase, for example, as well. One of the best cards in the side deck for various matchups was Droll. Card was crazy. I played against maybe at least 2 Mermeal variants, and this card just stopped me being hand looped and gave me an extra turn to kill them on the backpack. So, card is crazy. I think you should definitely play it. We played 3 more traps for going first. Strike. A lot of people playing Strike. Nothing special. It's just a really great card. Then for going first is 3 cross hit and call by. I also put this in going second against the mirror match as well because you're playing exactly like the same cards anyways. So even if they have like a trap card set, if they have Metatronus set, if they have use an engine piece for example, you can just use cross out to negate it. And it was actually excellent going second into mirror matches as well.
So there's something that's very obvious about the profile, but it's going to shock a lot of people. I don't see any Thoros. There's no Thoros and there's none of the Nemo Charmy either.
No, I made a conscious decision not to run those cards. I find that sometimes that they brick your hand going first. And you know what? I never really ever missed them. The best one, ironically, is actually Perulia. Just whenever you have a good idea that you are going to go first, or sorry, second, and then you're going to throw it in the standby phase to draw cards anyways, especially against Ryziel. A lot of players know about Folos. They can play around it. They'll just give you max 1 draw by either stopping them completely searching and drawing, or they play into this just naturally. Like I never really missed either of the other 2 Mochamis, Folos, or Meows.
And you don't play D barrier either in the side with thrust or any of the thrust package.
I tried thrust in a different tournament. It never really. I didn't really like it. I also like the fact that in testing with mirror matches, cross out going second as well is just absolutely brilliant. So thrust, no, I didn't really like it. Didn't really come up for me. I know it worked out well for some of the other top 64 variants, but no, I didn't personally like it. So moving on to the extra, I think it's pretty standard, bar maybe 1 or 2 cards.
Maybe some of the special spice that you have in the extra deck.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, your best link 1, link decoder, SP and IP. Dark, really good for the mirror match as well. Also, it can bait out, for example, if you link up a Druisworm with something else, and you use the Druisworm to send Detonator, like this is the only card in the field. If they just seem to destroy this, you just get a search. So it's totally fine to do that as well. But this is absolutely fantastic in the mirror match. We run Splash Mage, summed it a couple of times. It was fine. And as it goes, of course, you have to play it. Really, really good.
It's for cost. It's
Yeah.
what it gets you through a lot
Yeah,
of problems.
all my opponents realized that, so that they weren't gonna waste the effect wheeler or something on that. And then, of course, you run your 3 Maliss names. All of them are really good. This is what you summon first all the time, unless you are hand trapped. Then you have to go for this. But White Binder first, so that you play into Nibiru. This would be probably your 5th summon. It's fine if the Nibiru here before you even set a trap card. You will likely have a Bystial to just extend anyways and set a trap card later, so it's totally fine. Crypto was insane in the mirror match as well, so really, really good. I ran this as well. Everyone is, but it only resolved maybe 2 or 3 times throughout the whole YCS. But it was fine. Most of the times it won me the game, but there was one time somebody broke through it, which, it happens. X10 aggregator is a thing, so of course that worked. One of our key cards as well was Firewall. Some people are cutting this. I don't know why. It's really, really good. You can add things like, for example, hand traps or engine pieces back. In a mirror match, you can add Lancia back. Card's really good. Access code, of course, simply because access code is crazy. Banish for cost, one of these, summon it back, and then you just get your opponent. Metaltron is target, 1 Detonator, of course, just to get around the Eclipse Twins. And because we ran 9 Bystials, I ran 1 Flexbot card, which is the Goblin's Crazy Beast.
What does this do?
So basically, what this card does is it can protect itself and your other monsters from destruction. So it works against Detonator that way. So what happens is if you put up 2 Bystials on your opponent's turn, and it goes back to your turn, what you can do is threaten a Detonator plus a Ryziel Cross by overlaying, and this will detach 2 materials from Xyz monsters anywhere in the field, so it's not itself. So you're going to try and detach from the Detonator, and try and attach the Ryziel Cross to this. They're going to respond by trying to negating with Cross and also trying to destroy with Detonator. But this protects itself from card destruction anyways. It uses up a lot of interactions on the Ryziel player by itself before you even try and play any Maliss names whatsoever. I wouldn't play this card unless you're running at least 8 Bystials, and I might cut the Bystial package, so I might change this for something else. But weirdly enough, it came up in testing, but it didn't come up in the YCS. And it was a very interesting card anyways, but still, I didn't mind playing it anyways, just in case it did come up in different scenarios.
Were you happy enough with the extra deck with everything that went on? Would you ever put White Binder to 2 or anything? Or are you happy enough with the
No,
ones?
I never really came across things like Share Unicorn or anything like that. So, look, yeah, apart from maybe this card, which is like a flex spot, you could play Nightmare Cerberus or Phoenix or something, or maybe Linger Evo, for example, as well. Other than that, the extra decks pretty defined and normal so far.
So you were saying earlier in the profile that there was a couple of things you changed. So you'd put the field spell, was it?
Yeah, so let's just get the other these up for a sec. Yeah, in terms of the changes, you could probably perhaps move the deck up to 41, cut Chessie Cat, put in the 3rd field spell. You could cut the 2 Sarniers and put in the 3 Shifter instead. Because of the prevalence of Mermail, other decks like White Forest, and the new Blue Eyes deck, you can try and see how effective Shifter is instead. And then that would leave 1 free spot in the side, so you play a 3rd Aurelia, for example. I didn't really miss any of these cards in the event, but other than that, maybe it could have made a difference to move me up to top 64. Who knows? But overall, it was a pretty good event. And then, yeah, you can play just a Nightmare instead of the crazy beast if you're reducing on the Bystials, because you're less likely to have two dragons on the field at the same time.
Well, that's very fair, and also Phoenix doubles up for your Metal Tronus as well for Extend Night. So overall, how did you find the event?
Yeah, pretty good. Couple things didn't go my way, and that's why we didn't make top 64, unfortunately. But I had some insane matches that could have went either way. It was really good. Round 9, I had an insane mirror match where I just explained the cross out and what came up. Yeah, overall, pretty good tournament experience, and we'll just try better for the next YCS.
Any shout outs before we end the video on the profile for Everton?
Yeah, so obviously Card Cartel, great team to get involved with that I joined recently. Different locals that I played in, so like Seventh Dimension, Cornerstone Gaming, also the Gamers World down in Dublin, for example, as well. So yeah, overall, good tournament experience, and I'll definitely be playing Maliss again in future events.
Thank you very much. And once again, guys, Matthew Brady with his Day 2 YCS Birmingham top.